For the last 6 months and 2,500 miles, we've traveled from the Texas Gulf Coast to Vancouver Island, Canada. For most of this journey, we've been using Airbnbs, and now we're quitting all that. We're Paige, Daniel, and Winston. We made the decision to abandon our careers for a life of full-time travel. This is our adventure.
So we are done
Yeah.
with Airbnbs.
We're doing something completely different.
Yeah.
We have a big announcement at the end, so please hang out for that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, but we want to tell you guys the story first because it's going to make a lot more sense if we do.
Yeah,
So we're quitting Airbnb.
we are. Can you tell us why we're quitting Airbnb?
We made this nice little list here because I will forget something.
Oh.
Of course.
Yeah.
I write it down so I don't.
Have to remember.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyhow, we have a couple beefs with Airbnb as
As a concept.
As a
As a whole,
concept
yeah.
itself. Since we have been doing this for about 6 months now, we feel like we've had a good taste of it.
So hopefully you guys can pull something out of this and learn something that we didn't know whenever we started this whole thing.
Totally. With an Airbnb, you really don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, I would say that's true. You know, you see all the pictures and sometimes video walkthroughs online, but
Well, I've never seen a video walkthrough on an Airbnb.
uh,
But with Airbnbs, you get lots of pictures. The pictures always, or they usually look really good. And sometimes you show up and they're not exactly what they were promising.
yeah, and we're not talking about different bedspread color here. You know, you see a picture of the layout of a place and like, oh, that'll be cozy, and then you realize it is really cozy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the host may not be very cooperative when you have reasonable requests. Or we've also had hosts be very slow to our request, slow to respond with things.
Yeah. Some pretty basic things like, you know, we ran out of paper towels and it took
A week.
Yeah, I guess a week. Yeah, it took a week to get paper towels. Or, you know, the place has a dishwasher but no dishwashing detergent, and it takes a week to get dishwashing detergent. So there's a couple of things that happen like that.
Yeah, while that's not the end of the world, we can hand wash our dishes and we can use paper towel or just regular towels. But that's also not an expense that we
As guests should have to incur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's also the slight problem that the location is not necessarily shared online before you make the reservation. You have to make the reservation first. And sometimes even then they don't tell you the location before, like just a few days before your actual reservation begins.
Yeah, so you get that neighborhood bubble of where it's going to be. But if you're hopefully trying to book somewhere next to a subway stop or a train station or a bus stop, something like that, you think you're right next to it, and you might actually be 5 or 6 blocks from where you think you are.
Right. The amenities are not what you expect.
And sometimes the ones that are included that are basic, everyone that everyone knows, like Wi-Fi, from place to place are different. You know, one Wi-Fi speed might be super fast, and the other one is just like dial-up from back in the day.
Yeah, some of our videos we can upload in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas other places have taken like 8 or 10 hours,
Yeah.
if not more. I think that's about the time when we gave up and went to Starbucks.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, it really just depends on what your expectations are. You know, sometimes you don't realize how small a shower is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, a 2 foot by 2 foot shower is really small.
Yeah.
Oh, the parking.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, we had parking. The listing said free parking, and we show up and we're like, okay, where's this free parking? And they're like, oh no, we don't have free parking.
Yeah, it's
free
right there.
parking at night.
Yeah. From 8 to 8, it's free parking. It's like, oh, okay, well, what do we do during the day? It's like, oh, you pay, you know, $15 a day for street parking. Or you can pay us, you know,
It was $200 to park in the garage for a month.
So, you know, some of those things are not exactly listed in the listing, and you'll kind of run across those from time to time.
And like in our situation, we weren't paying the extra $200 through Airbnb. We were paying it directly to the host, which honestly made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to run. All of those transactions are supposed to go through Airbnb, but you know, these things happen.
All right. right. So second beef about Airbnb.
Yeah, that's only the first one.
Yeah,
We're on
sorry.
two.
In order to get the best deal for Airbnb, you have to stay a full month. Usually you can get a discounted price if you stay a full month. Okay, so one of the good things about that is you get the Airbnb for about equivalent of a fully furnished apartment.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, if you're in the central business district of your favorite city and you can find something that will accommodate you that way, I mean, it beats the heck out of trying to find a hotel room.
But there are certain places that we want to spend more time in, and we don't necessarily know that we want to spend that time in those places until we actually get there. And then we've also been in places where we're like, we probably didn't need to stay the full month.
Yeah.
We probably could have shortened the stay a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but we're tied in to that full month reservation.
Yeah, and then you are kind of at the mercy of your host to determine whether or not you actually get to leave that reservation on
Early.
time.
Well, if you want to leave early.
Or leave early, yeah.
So if you want to modify your reservation, check in early, check out early, you have to go through the host.
Which is understandable. It's their place. They want to know who's in and out of their place, But
if we want to leave early, we don't want to be punished. Like, there's a situation where we are going somewhere and we really need to leave, I think, a week and a half early. But the host refused to let us out of that
time frame.
reservation. So he actually is forcing us to have the reservation through the weekend, so he doesn't have to worry about filling it on a holiday weekend.
But we did make the request before,
A week before
that holiday weekend. So I don't know about you, but there are a lot of places that are still vacant on holiday weekends that a lot of people come into at the last minute.
Yeah.
So
We both worked in the hospitality industry, and we're very familiar with those last minute planners and people who live a little bit more spontaneously. They wanted to take advantage of those, and so we didn't think it'd be a problem. The host had a problem with it, so
we were able to reach an accord. So
I'm still not happy about it.
Right. Yeah. So we ended up basically splitting the difference here, but it just kind of left a sour taste in our mouth.
Yeah. But that alone is not the reason why we're quitting Airbnb.
No, we have more reasons.
More reasons. Okay, so we're talking about getting the best price. You need to stay at least a month.
And
Winston keeps pushing me out of the way, so that's why I'm dodging.
He's being a bit of a bully.
Yeah,
and that could be minimum 28 days or 30 days or 31 days. It just depends on how it's kind of set up in that host system. So.
Right. But in order to get that full month stay, you need to plan ahead. You're not going to be able to get that with a lot of spontaneous nature. So we suggest, if you're into this kind of thing, looking out 4 to 6 months ahead of time.
Now, if you don't care about where you're going to stay, you just want to stay in a general region.
You could probably find something.
But
for a full month? Oh.
That starts getting tight.
Yeah.
But if you have a very specific idea of where you want to stay, you're going to need to plan early.
Yeah, to get a good place, a place that you like, a place that's nice, as well as a place for a good price.
Yeah.
There are some pet-friendly Airbnbs. Pet-friendly Airbnbs are totally out there. I have found, much to my frustration, that a lot of times the host will put a breed or a weight limit. Winston is about 145, 150 pounds. So that is quite the restriction.
About 5 times the general weight limit.
Yeah. So we just have to deal with that. I highly recommend that you go through and look at the house rules and check and see if they have any additional pet restrictions if you are bringing a pet.
And it's always good after you make the reservation, send your host a quick message saying, hey, this is my dog, this is what they are, yada, yada, yada. It kind of gives them a familiarity of what to expect in their own home.
One last thing that we really don't like about Airbnb is that sometimes in our life, we live in Airbnbs right now. So occasionally we do have to cancel an Airbnb. You have to make several cancellations because your plans dramatically changed.
You're only allowed to cancel that 3 times in a year.
Right. And beyond that third time, they keep their administration fees. So while it's a few bucks here and there, it can really add up.
Yeah. If you maybe say planned a trip to Alaska, so you were finding half a dozen places along the way that all had their own administration fees, and something radically changed in your life and you're no longer going to Alaska, those fees add up.
Yeah, ask us how we know.
Yeah.
There are some a little bit more personal reasons why we are quitting Airbnb.
Yeah.
The number one reason, one of the reasons is the expense. It's a little more expensive than I think we anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, we were basically figuring, what normal apartment rent is, for where we were living.
In Dallas.
In Dallas, Texas. And that, we were basing that kind of budget off of that kind of experience. But as we found that we really, really liked places and we wanted to extend our stay, it got really expensive really quick.
Yeah. The thing is that we like to stay in the city centers. We want to be able to be a part of the community. Also, that's an expense. And then being in the city center, you're closer to restaurants, bars, attractions, all these things to do and spend money on. So that has added up again as a additional expense.
Yeah.
That we just weren't counting on it being that much.
Yeah, it's like these tourist areas have figured out a way to make lots of money. I don't know how they do it. They're very good.
They're very good. We're just tired of moving, honestly.
Yeah.
Another reason is it's just the hassle of packing everything up every few weeks. It's not a lot, but it seems like a lot when we're in the process of packing.
Yeah, and depending on where you're staying, you might be able to just back right into a house and unload all your stuff right into the house. Or you might have to pay for street parking and hope that there's a spot that's not, a couple blocks away to tote all your things. Yeah, it can get to be kind of tough. And
while staying in Victoria, that's what we had to do. We were parked in a parkade like 2 blocks away, and we had to find time in the evening when there's not a lot of people parking on the street, so we could park on the street and then lug our stuff back and forth. So we're just tired of moving.
Yeah.
6 months of packing up every few weeks is exhausting.
Yeah, and you don't ever really get a chance to settle. There's always like, okay, do I need to unpack this?
Yeah.
Do I just leave it? So it's always that as well. So.
But it is interesting when you get to see the things that didn't get unpacked, and you're like, do I really need this?
Yeah, I'm either going to use this all up right now, or I'm going to ship it back.
Yeah, we send it to my mom's house. Thanks, Mom. This is probably the biggest reason for all 3 of us, Daniel, myself, and Art Winston.
Yeah.
It's consistency.
Yeah, we learned kind of early on that the inconsistent nature of staying places causes some inconsistency in Winston's tummy.
Right, that's a very polite way of saying that.
Yeah.
He gets stress poops, and it can be a very, very big, messy problem. And it started early on. I think he's gotten better, but we're acutely aware of that, how that consistent environment is really good for him.
Yeah, he's adaptable. We just didn't know that this was going to be part of his adaptation, and I mean, it's not his fault.
No, not at all.
So it's just another straw in that camel's back.
And we want some consistency. There are things that we would like. We spent a full month on an incredibly painful mattress. With terrible air conditioning.
And there wasn't air conditioning.
Oh yeah, they had an air cooler. There wasn't even a fan in the bedroom, so it was real stale. And
it wasn't even one of those fancy, southern United States swamp coolers. I think it just sucked air from the outside and just blew it inside.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? Let me stop and say, anytime I complain, I feel like a real a-hole. Okay, so.
Yeah,
because we this is pretty amazing, and we really do enjoy what we're doing and where we're going.
Yeah.
But there are things like a comfortable mattress, a well-stocked kitchen,
even a comfortable pillow. I mean, there's one that doesn't just go, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So some of that consistency, I think, would go a long way with us.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just suck it up for a month and hope it gets better in the next one.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just suck it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
And it's fine. We just make do, and it's we enjoy the time and the places where we are.
yeah, but that's the thing that you don't get to see when you're making your Airbnb listing are those little things. How comfortable is the bed? How's the water pressure? How's the water temperature? How long is that water temperature going to last? So
Very true.
yeah,
And those are things that if we had our own place, that we would be able to make some modifications to be a little bit more comfortable for the long run.
yeah,
All three of us.
all three of us.
All right, so if we're not going to be doing Airbnb, what are we going to do?
Yeah, because we're not going back. We're not
going back to work.
No,
No.
we're not doing that. No.
Sorry, I should have done that spoiler
Yeah.
at the very beginning. No, I'm sorry. I love you guys. I miss being a part of the team, but yeah,
We're not coming back yet.
I'm not ready yet.
No.
So what do we want?
Well, first of all, the whole reason behind why we're doing this is we want to travel.
Totally. We want to have a level of spontaneity in that travel. With Airbnb, we feel kind of tied down to our reservations that we have made and that we have to make in order to get the best price and the best place.
Yeah, planning 6 months out does really hamper in the options and what we're able to do while we're in a place that we really like.
Yeah. We want a consistent home base. I think that would be really helpful for all of us.
Yeah, a place to actually call home. I mean, while, wherever we all are is
home.
is home, it's not,
We want something that's
that's ours.
to travel, to be spontaneous, and to have a consistent home base. Can we have the best of both worlds?
Can we have all three?
Can we do it?
Can we do it all?
I don't know. We're gonna try.
So
Do we want to tell you guys the next story, the next part of the story? Because there's more to it. Remember the big announcement? Yeah, that's all in here.
yeah. So if you made it this far, thank you, and just
Like and subscribe.
yeah, click that little button right down this area here, I think maybe, or maybe over there, and
Whatever. It's there, okay?
yeah.
Winston, you're gonna stay here? Yep. I love you. Darling, you're gonna stay here.
I'm gonna stay here.
Yes, I love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Winston. It's just you and me now, pups. We got a couple of 1,000 miles to go. Short time to get there. Buckle up.
We started by looking at RVs. Now, I talked to a friend of mine and he suggested that we get an RV with a diesel engine. So, after searching RVs high and low, we came across what is called a schoolie. Now, a schoolie is a school bus that has been converted into an RV. And we found that to be quite fascinating, very unique, and I think it would check all of our boxes. Thousands of people live and travel in schoolies throughout the United States, so we thought this is going to be the best situation for us. And I think we found the perfect one. It's 2-bed, full bath, it has a galley kitchen, and it has all of the things like solar, water. We're going to be able to really live off-grid and travel the United States in a vehicle like this.
So to that end, I flew out to North Carolina to take a look at a schoolie.
We've made it to the airport, as you can see, and that was a successful trip, I think. Really like the schoolie. I think we're gonna move forward on.
Called up the owner, made an offer, we're accepted. And yeah, that's where we are with that.
And after much thought, we decided to begin the process of purchasing our next home. So exciting. In order to get ready, we set up a wire transfer to the seller, as well as purchasing 2 brand new 40 amp Renogy batteries. We canceled all of our Airbnb reservations for the fall and scheduled a pickup of our bus for August so that we begin the next chapter of our lives. But not everything goes to plan. 4 weeks later, our wire transfer still was being returned. We did 4 wire transfers and they were returned for 4 different reasons. We checked on the batteries we had ordered and they had not yet been shipped from the warehouse.
And 4 different times, for 4 different reasons, wire transfers get returned. Now, when you start pounding on things and the nail's just not going in, that might mean that you're not supposed to drive that nail. So the universe was telling us that this isn't the right course for us. So we abandoned that option.
As is life, we took this as a sign from the universe that, maybe this isn't the bus for us, and maybe we need to look somewhere else.
And so we still are looking for this consistency, this comfort, this way to explore and travel and see the world, but have a home base. And as you guys are probably well aware, we love to sail. It's always been our dream to sail around the world, but we do have the Winston. Isn't that right, Winston? He's tired.
So we felt that we might need to stay on land because of the Winston factor. Winston's not much of a water dog, but we started thinking maybe we could if we found the perfect boat.
So we do have the Winston. So finding a boat that can accommodate the Winston is a bit of a challenge. We've always had our eye, however, on a make and model called the Beneteau Sense.
Our dream has been a Beneteau Sense 50. We found one that fits the bill perfectly. She's beautiful, monohull. She has a low transom and a shallow companionway, so Winston can get up and down and move around easily. Flew to Florida, did a haul out, a survey, and she is gorgeous. We think this might be the perfect boat for us. Except for some damage that the owner and the broker failed to mention. We were online and found the vessel had been salvaged after having 5 significant punctures. It had major rudder damage. It was taking on water, so then the guy who was captaining it put it on the sandbar, which is not good for a sailboat keel. And so, we didn't know what to do. So we called up some trusted friends and asked their advice. They, in no uncertain terms, they said, don't walk, run.
Well, we reached out to some friends, asked them their opinion, and in no uncertain terms, they said, run, don't walk, away from this boat. Well, that sucks. That really sucks.
Maybe she wasn't so perfect after all. So the search continues.
So that's where we are now. Well, that's not where I am now. Paige is there now. I'm in South Dakota. And it's raining. And it's flat.
Welcome to Georgia.
So the friends we talked to about the Sense 50 recommended that we look at a catamaran. And so we're here.
And this is where the plot twists.
Hey!